In this video, I'm gonna share the top 10 reasons that I see agents failing right now. Hey, I'm Mikesh, and I share proven practices, strategies, and tips that I use to become a top performing agent in my market and scale my business. All right, first thing I see that agents are not doing that's causing them to fail is they're not operating from a CRM or customer relationship management tool. A CRM is critical to your success. If you're not operating out of a CRM, you might have sticky notes over here. You might be constantly trying to remember all the people that you need to keep in touch with and keep track of all that. Not only does that stress you out and it's going to create chaos, and as you get busier and busier and more successful, it's just going to become unsustainable, but it's just not a professional approach to your business and how you should be running it. So you've got to get a good CRM, and you've got to let the CRM dictate what is it that you're going to do. So when I was selling a ton of real estate on my own, I used my CRM as a tool so that I didn't have to remember everything. And I would always set the next task or the next thing that I wanted to accomplish. If it was send an email or what have you, I would set that up after I spoke to them. So you speak to somebody, you're on the phone with them, you're like, okay, I gotta send this email and I gotta follow up with them next week. You put those tasks in right then and there, and then you can forget about it because the CRM is going to tell you what to do and when so that people don't fall through the cracks. The next thing I see with agents who are failing is they have no strategic client database strategy. So they serve clients, and a lot of them, they really do a great job. But then what happens after you serve your client? Like where do you stay in touch with them? Do you just kind of like, okay, great, I just had an awesome sale. They love me, I love them, and I'm gonna stay in touch with them forever and we're new BFFs. Is that how you do it? That's the strategy that I see a lot of people employ. What you've got to do is you've got to put them into your database, and you've got to be strategic. So like developing something like a 12 or 32 or 64 touch point system where you're going to communicate with them every single month at certain holidays, at certain intervals, when they have their home anniversary. These new CRMs today, guys, are amazing, and they will allow you to put that strategy in place so that, again, you're letting that CRM dictate what you're gonna do and when you're gonna do it. You're not leaving it to chance. And if you have a really strategic approach to your database, you're gonna be able to harvest a lot of repeat business from them, but also serve them at a high level and get a lot of referrals from them. The next thing I see with agents who are failing is they're not generating enough leads. They're kind of like, hey, I hope I get some business, or, I hope I get some more closings next month, and hope isn't a strategy, guys. So you've got to have a strategic plan, and that plan starts with generating quality leads. So you can say, hey, if I want to make X amount of dollars in this year, based on my market, based on my average sale price, I'm going to need to sell X amount of homes, and based on my lead sources that I have, I'm going to need to generate X amount of leads. If you don't know those numbers, it's okay, but you got to start today. And you can actually talk to some of these lead providers and say, hey, realistically, how many of these leads are going to turn into right now business, meaning they're going to transact within the next 90 days? That's a great question to ask anytime you're thinking about buying leads or doing business with somebody new, and then ask them for references. Say, great, like I really appreciate that. Could I talk to some people that are having that kind of success with your leads? Guys, if they can't provide that data or a reference, and they say something like, hey, our clients, privacy, confidentiality, like all that hoopla, I would run from them. Because any reputable lead source is going to be able to point you in the direction of people that are having success on their product, and you're going to be able to vet that out. So in the case of, lead generation platforms, things like Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Zerple, these are platforms that you can buy leads from. And they'll tell you, like, hey, if you want to do online Google pay-per-click, the conversion rate now is about 1 out of 100. So if you want to get one piece of business over the next 90 days, you're going to need at least 100 leads. And once you have the lead generation in play, you can just reverse engineer the math and start to figure out what kind of lead volume you're going to need to hit your goals. The next reason that I see agents failing is they don't know their conversion rates. You have to know, hey, I have this many leads, and of this many leads, I'm gonna on average talk to this percentage of people. And when I talk to this percentage of people, on average, I'm gonna get into a conversation about real estate and set an appointment with this percentage of people. And you have to be able to track that all the way through. I track 7 things in my business at all times until the very end. And it was these 7 critical numbers that I needed to know in order to complete the sales cycle and then be able to effectively reverse engineer what was it that I would need to do in order to hit my goals and make the money that I wanted to make. And if you look in the show description, I'll include our 7 things that we track. And they're really simple, guys. It's going to be how many new contacts did you make? How many new conversations did you have with them? How many appointments did you set? How many appointments were kept? Of those appointments were kept, how many agency agreements did you sign? Of those agency agreements did you sign, how many times did you follow up with them in the past week? And then how many new contracts did you have? By tracking those things, you're going to be able to really just chart your course on where you want to go. It's just going to be time and effort. The next thing is a big thing and very personal to me, and it's not time blocking the activities. If you want to grow a successful real estate career, you're going to have to time block your prospecting activity. And for most agents, that's simple as 5 to 10 hours per week, but it's got to be hours that you treat like appointments. If you had a listing appointment with a multi-million-dollar listing tomorrow at 2:00, there's no way that you would just be like, I don't feel like doing it today, and you wouldn't show up. You would be there with bells on, you'd have all your presentation ready, you'd have your car washed, you'd be looking fresh, you'd be ready to go, right? Because that would be a valuable appointment. Until you get the mentality that you treat your prospecting blocks in that kind of way, you're probably not going to see the success that you're capable of. So you've got to time block the critical activities. In this case, your prospecting time blocks. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of business one month and no business the next month. And your business is going to be very scary. It's going to be a roller coaster. If you want to get consistent business and you want to grow and scale, then you're going to have consistent time blocks. There's just no way around it, guys. The next thing I see, the challenge that I see with people, especially right now, is that people are doing too many things. People's focus is scattered. And while scattered light can light a room, a laser beam can cut through steel. So you've got to take all of that energy that you're scattering over all these areas and you've got to focus it. And I think for most agents, whether you want to sell 10 homes next year or you want to sell 100 or 200, all you're going to need is 2 to 3 very reliable lead gen strategies, and you're going to have to go deep on those. Stop doing 100 things mediocre and start doing 3 things exceptional. And that's going to really change your business and give you a lot more peace of mind because you're going to know those 3 things inside and out, and you're going to be an expert in that area. All right, another thing that's like an epidemic right now is social media, guys. We're spending too much time on social media. And if I look at agents that are struggling or failing, chances are their screen time is through the roof. They're spending way too much time on social media. So what I would encourage you to do is pull out your phone, look at what your average screen time has been. I know it's probably going to be shocking. And then just ask yourself, what would it look like if half of that screen time was replaced with prospecting time? You'd probably be so busy right now that you wouldn't have any time to watch a video like this. All right, I got 2 more for you. And this one is that agents aren't spending enough time to become experts in the market. So in order to be a top performing agent, in order to sell real estate at the highest level, in order to take the fewest amount of leads and convert those into the most amount of clients, you're gonna have to be an expert. And people want to work with experts. People want to know that and feel confident that when they work with you, you're going to help them get the best home at the best price, and you know the market inside and out. And you just can't know that if you're not spending the time. So if you're new and you're not as busy as you want to be, or even if you've been doing this for a while and you want to get busy and you want to be more successful, dig in, guys. Become experts on the market. If you understand the market and you know it inside and out and you study it, and the good news is, I think you could be an expert and look way better and more educated than 99% of the agents in your marketplace if you will spend 2 to 3 hours per month studying the market, both from a national level and a local level, so that you truly know your product. That's what's going to allow you to get into conversations at cocktail parties, at birthday parties, when you're out and about, that are going to make people say, man, this is somebody that I want to work with. They know everything about the market. It's also going to help you convert more of those phone conversations with cold leads into leads that want to work with you, because you're going to be able to demonstrate your value over the phone by what you communicate. So become a market expert today. And the last thing, and something that's critical to your long-term success, maybe not on day one, but certainly as you do the things that I'm talking about in this video and you get busy, you've got to run a P&L. And maybe you're not doing your own P&L. Maybe you hire a bookkeeper or what have you, but I don't care how you get it, you have to have one. Because as you get busy, you're gonna start to scale your business and spend more money. And that's gonna be great and awesome, but it can also be dangerous if you're not running a P&L. You've got to know what monies are going out, what monies are coming in, and be able to pivot and make changes when you're 90 days ahead of a catastrophe. And most agents, unfortunately, they're just not paying attention to this. Money goes out, money goes in, they get busy, more money comes out, more money goes in, and they don't really know. And at the end of the year, they're not making nearly what they think they are. So I believe that in order to become a good long-term agent and really make a career out of this, you've got to be disciplined enough to be running a P&L on the regular. Every single month, you should have a P&L for the month before. This is going to allow you to build a long-standing career, and it's also going to allow you to know what's working and what's not, so you can do more of what's working and less of what's not. Thanks. Those are the tips I had for you today. I believe if you do those 10 things exceptionally well, you're going to be on track to being a great agent, a top performer in your market with the ability to scale beyond that if you choose.